Hey, we're live. And I think it's working. My God, first time using this thing. That is pretty crazy.
Is anyone in? Can you see if there's...
That's a good question. Wes?
I can answer that one for you. As your viewers come into the stream, you see where the counter is, live 25, 26, 27. In that corner of the screen, you will see how many people are actively watching the stream.
Right on. Yeah. All right.
Now the delay, so I just got the notification on my phone that it just went live. So there is a delay between the platforms, and it's different. Like if you're going to YouTube and Facebook, the delay is it's different based on the destination. So,
well, I also know that speaking of which, there's some business we need to talk about, Paul, afterwards, but that was ominous sounding, wasn't it?
I know. I'm
business with you, young man. You're gonna get the business.
But yeah, this is going to be different for the viewers too. This is the first time we're using basically a YouTube stream through StreamYard here. So
congratulations, by the way, on making the leap to video, even if it's in a limited form and you never use it again. Welcome to the world of video.
Yes, well, thank you for pushing me towards it.
I'll push you anytime.
I'm enjoying the tool. If
you need a metaphorical kick, just anytime.
All right. Well, we got 3 viewers here. Why don't we go ahead and kick it off?
Ooh.
All right. Hello and welcome to a special live stream episode of Reflex Point, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss the series Robotech one episode at a time. We're your hosts, Major Medina.
I'm Paul Marquez.
And today we are joined by friend of the show, lifelong Robotech fan and host of the popular podcast that talks about all things fandom, all the way from the Ontario Quadrant, Wes R. Scott of the Fandom Power podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, thanks for joining us, man.
I brought some friends.
Nice.
Hey. Now, I understand that's from a show called Robotech. Now, what's the name of that ship?
I think it's called the Yellow Submarine. No, that's not it.
Let's be honest. I don't think anybody would know that was a ship in that configuration, seeing it for the first time. But
you're absolutely right. I mean, what is that? A transformer? What is that thing? No, that's our beloved SDF-1.
Oh. Now, Wes, back in I think it was June of 2021, you had us on your show to do a fantasy casting of a live action Robotech movie.
We had a lot of fun with that one too.
Had the best time.
Yeah, I had a great time.
And hey, about 5 days ago, Sony announced that Rhys Thomas has signed on as the director of the in development live action Robotech movie. So I thought, who better to talk about this with than somebody we've already talked about? I mean, when we did the fantasy casting, it was all bets off. Live, dead, old, new. If you wanted to pick Gary Coleman from 1982, which I thought was a weird choice, Paul. But that's just not how I saw
Drummond, all right?
That's not how I saw Global. Okay, but
I thought it was Gary Coleman for Annie Mint LaBelle.
But guys, if you haven't listened to that episode 12 of the Fandom Power podcast, please go over and listen to that. Just real quick, because I'm like a moth with flame here. Clint says, hello, glad I get to catch this live. Thanks for joining us, Clint. Good to have you here, man.
Definitely.
So, live action Robotech movie. From what I understand, this is from the 2017 version of Sony developing a Robotech movie. There's been a couple of directors that have been attached to it. This is Rhys Thomas. The only reason I'm currently, and Rhys Thomas of SNL fame, co-creator and director of Documentary Now, and most recently of Marvel's Hawkeye.
3 episodes of Hawkeye.
It was going to end. I think he carried the finale on that one.
Yeah, the episode 1, 2, and 6.
Yes. So again, this specific project's been in development since 2017. But if you all forgive me, I have to say that my hopes are just a little bit up because the legal stuff is kind of out of the way, right?
I think that was sort of the catalyst for our fantasy cast. Was I think we had gotten the news last year that the legal stuff was settled, and I'm like, well, this is the perfect time to talk about it, because now all bets are off and we can just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
But you understand, Wes, you understand we've been hurt before.
I feel the pain, man. I mean, the anxiety is real.
Okay, it's like Harmony Gold is coming and saying, "Give us one more chance. We'll change. We'll change." And it's like, I've heard that before.
We've all heard it. I mean, I don't know where you guys are on the fence with the management of the brand and who the heads at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want to speak to that, because I don't want to speak poorly of people that I don't really know. But where the optics are concerned, the management of the brand has not been that great in the decades since the show left the air. I mean, that's a fact. And I got to tell you, this whole thing with Sony, especially in light of, I just did a show recently where I talked about the live action Masters of the Universe movie that's also coming. Sony's involved in that.
Right.
And I got to tell you, just based on what's going on between Sony and Netflix, I have a really good feeling that this might be the real deal. It might not be a theatrical release, but I think we might actually get something this time.
And okay, so with Harmony Gold, here's my feelings about it. I feel like they never just put it on the shelf. And if they had done that, I think
we're losing you there.
Yeah, we are.
Can you still hear me though?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
You're coming back.
All right. I how about you, Paul? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I upgraded my my routers. I made sure everything was updated and set, and everything looked like it was going good. So if I cut in and out, apologies, Paul.
That's fine.
You have the show. But like I was saying, when it's something that's just not going to happen, or if it's up on a shelf, that's fine. But Harmony Gold never really did that. They wanted to do something with it, and they knew fans were there, and I think we all feel some anxiety from that aspect. But I'm gonna choose to be hopeful on this one, and choose that. And
oh, we're losing you again.
And also,
that's me. Cry or hit it.
Yeah.
You're back.
All right. I was gonna say, I'm choosing to be hopeful here. That no matter what we get, if anything, that even if it's, as long as it's not whatever the step below Sharknado is, because Sharknado did well, I don't know. As long as it's not somewhere around there, I'm gonna be pretty happy. I think episode 1, Paul, we were talking about, Robotech and why we still talk about it, and the books and what have you. And you said, but bro, it's more Robotech. And I was like, yeah, it is more Robotech. Sometimes it makes you angry. Sometimes it makes you go, well, they didn't really think that one through, did they? But hey, I have a podcast where we need to fill about 2 hours to talk about all the things that are going on with it. So I'm kind of happy with it.
I relate to that. We do a lot of Star Wars content on our show.
Sure.
And I mean, if you're in any kind of organized Star Wars fan group, that you need to go in with, every piece of armor that you can possibly put on yourself, because man, the Disney era of Star Wars, if nothing else, is so divisive. But we said exactly the same thing, but it's new Star Wars. So
yeah.
I would rather have new Star Wars than no Star Wars.
Hey, even if it's bad, it would hurt me. Yeah. And I would think, at least it made me feel again.
Oh, you empty soul, you.
No, just Robotech making me feel.
No,
one way or the other.
I hear you. I mean, I was thinking about this today as we were getting ready for this, and it's like, what other giant mech movies have been around? And I'm like, Well, I don't want like Robot Jocks because that was awful. But I mean,
No.
that's a product of its time. But then I think, the first Pacific Rim, I
Sure.
love that movie so much that even if it was something that looked like that,
Mhm.
I'm in. I'm in 1,000,000%.
Yeah, yeah, and I think of Transformers and the Transformers movie. I think we all went into that having zero expectations on the movie being any good, and then we walked out going, "Yeah, this is a pretty good movie." I had an
Yeah.
entertaining time, and then that's all I'm looking for.
There isn't a
Um,
Transformer movie, and I mean, say what you want about the Bay movies, and I mean, I'm a bit of a detractor. I think there is such a thing as too much. Give me
Mhm.
some wider angles where I can see what's going on. But I was thoroughly entertained by every Transformer movie we've gotten so far.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Perfect segue. I know I brought it.
Like he's all
The
froze up again.
writers,
Oh yeah.
the script writers, Art Markham and Matt
Oh,
Holloway,
I'm
they
super
are
excited for that.
yeah, they're screenwriting buddies, right? Screenwriting duo. Um, and I'll list down from the ones that I don't know about all the way to the ones I do know about, and that starts with Uncharted. I haven't seen Uncharted yet.
I have not seen it yet either, so I can't comment on that. But the video game series is fantastic.
People didn't seem to like Men in Black International, but I don't know. Transformers: The Last Night. That's why I brought up the Transformers thing. I actually didn't see that one.
I did see
But
the last night. It was a missed opportunity, but I liked it.
the one that I did watch and do know, and look, if you just did this one, you get a pass for the rest of your life. Iron Man 2008,
Yes.
right? Writers of Iron Man 2008,
Yeah.
damn near a perfect movie.
It's super, super close for sure.
So I wanna start off in terms of questioning by asking you guys what was your initial reaction when you heard the news?
I don't know. You want me to go first?
Sure.
So I've been primarily my interest in Robotech has been obviously through the animated series. I own the novelizations. I have not read them yet, which I really need to get around to doing that. They've been sitting on my bookshelf for a long time. But then the role playing games. So I mean, I had so many Robotech adventures that I created
Yeah.
that, is anything ever going to live up to that? I don't know. And I was aware of the Warner Brothers stuff from like 07 with Tobey Maguire.
Right.
And I can remember going, holy crap, Spider-Man wants to be Rick Hunter. That's cool.
Right.
And then it kind of waned and died off. And then, there's this sense of like, now, especially looking back, maybe it was a good thing that never happened. Maybe. But with the whole Sony thing, quietly optimistic.
That's good.
Quietly optimistic. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say the same. I saw it and went, awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear more about this.
I saw it and it was instant concern. I don't care for this one bit.
All right.
I don't know how they're going to get the essence of Robotech in a movie.
Right.
I just don't. That's a big task for anyone. I get it's kind of funny because I get the impression this Reese Thomas, right?
Yeah.
Like I would expect that he would have said like, "Hey, I'm honored to be on board." Robotech. I haven't heard anything. It's like if he woke up and said, "Wait, Sony said what?" Like Sony,
Yeah.
I'm the what right now?
Yes.
I feel like they announced it before they told him that he was the producer.
I don't want to jump too far ahead because I'm not sure how you want to structure the show, but
Freeform.
okay. So the script, the initial script, the Markham and Holloway script has already had a passover by two other writers.
Right.
And so, I mean, if you look into their credits, there's a link. You got Brian Gatewood and Alessandro Tanaka. They wrote and produced Superstore and a bunch of other comedy stuff. I kind of wonder if, the folks at Sony, and I mean, everybody wants a little piece of that Marvel money. And I think that with this, with the writing team and the director, they're really trying to recreate the Marvel soup. I don't know if that's a viable thing for Robotech, because there's not a limitless supply of characters like there are in Marvel. There's a very finite core cast of characters that we all know and love, and we want to see them served an appropriate level of justice. And I don't know if the Marvel formula I don't think it works for Robotech.
And look at Corey. Corey just did a comment, and he's thinking along the same vein that I thought. He says, "Does Robotech have a big enough fan base to support a movie? Do a Robotech second and third cartoon first to build up a new fan base." That's exactly what I thought when the movie came out. I thought, you know what? I'd be more excited if there was if they would animate the Sentinels in the version in a way like Star Wars, the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah,
bring people in like that, a whole new fan base, and then veterans would flock to it. And
we all wanted that.
Then release this movie, and you'd have all these younger people that watch it, exploring back. Wait a minute, there was more of this that would interest them into the old stuff, and it would I think it'd work out for everybody. It's amazing they didn't consult me.
I really like that idea too. The secret sauce. I mean, when Legendary, when Netflix rebooted Voltron, that brought a lot of old fans in and a bunch of new fans. And I think that there's still some buzz around Voltron getting a live action film.
Yeah.
But I mean, you make a great point. Let's revitalize the animation and get it back in the public eye before we go, here's a movie on a 30-year-old property you may have forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we got the Thin White Dork saying, bringing up that Kickstarter, the Robotech Academy. Now, I don't remember, what year was that?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Okay, so he's saying that they said it was a plan B for Academy, but it's been nearly 8 years and nothing, or there was a plan B for Academy. So 8 years ago, I just don't know if Kickstarter was as ubiquitous as it is now. So 2014, I don't know if enough people knew about it or trusted it or understood what they were looking at or could find it.
Yeah.
I mean, 2014 isn't the dark ages, but I don't know if there was enough.
I'm looking at it says right now that the campaign received 2,284 backers, and it made $194,574 of their $500,000 goal, and was canceled by the creator.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. He's making a good point again.
Yeah.
Palladium Kickstarter was a massive success that same year.
Ooh.
All right.
Are we talking about the miniatures game, the fabled miniatures game? Is that what we're talking about? Did anybody get one? I didn't get one. I didn't even try.
I heard too many horror stories about people not getting what they ordered.
And now, so I mean, I know this isn't live action movie related, but there's a new miniatures game on the horizon.
Yeah. I think Paul had given me some notice on that one.
You're on notice. Get your wallet ready.
Yeah. And Scory saying, based the new cartoon on the McKinney novels. They are great.
I could get behind that.
Likewise.
Definitely.
Yeah. So hearing that there was a second pass by comedy writers, that usually means, there was a very serious script, and then they see what works at Marvel. It's like, oh, Marvel movies are funny. I mean, Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Let's make it funny. So they get the second pass through, or the punch up for jokes and what have you. Yeah, that makes me worried. I'm not particularly excited about that. But I don't know, just kind of whatever. Just give me more Robotech. More toys, more board games, more cartoons, definitely. Hopefully a movie would spin off a cartoon as opposed to the opposite way that you're talking about, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, if it was Disney doing it, look at how many Disney animated films got animated series in the wake. You get your Aladdin series, Little Mermaid, they all got animated series after after the fact. But I mean, those are hitting a different audience. Of course, they're going to get an animated series. Does it work on a I better have a giant tuna fish? Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm going to use that as a jumping point here for questions. So first off, I'm assuming we're talking about the Macross series that they would be trying to fit into a, I don't know, 80 to 120 minute movie.
I can't see them launching with something that doesn't already have a built-in fan base. So yeah, I mean,
right.
I mean, arguably Macross is the most beloved of the trio.
Okay. So we know there's a lot of stuff that goes into the full Macross story. I don't know if they have the gumption to try to do it in 2 or 3 movies, right? Make a trilogy, so that you can get the entire 36 episodes. But so I want to ask you guys, and Wes, we'll start with you again.
Oh, sure.
What are you okay element wise cutting out? So I'll run through a couple of things. So we got Roy and Claudia's relationship, right?
Keep it.
Lisa, Min-Mei, Rick, their love triangle.
So that I'm split right down the middle on that. Part of me says drop that because the way it played out in the animated series was just a little like you just wanted to pull Rick aside and, like wake up, man. If it's played correctly, the love triangle thing, it could work, but I don't think people are going to the movie theater to see Robotech for the love story.
I hear you. That it seems like a really important plot point until you're up against, maybe 120 minute runtime. Right. You're like, we got to start losing stuff here. Min-Mei's rise to fame. Paul, if you have anything on these, please jump in.
Well, Min-Mei is pivotal, and hashing out her character is her fame. I think we need to leave that in.
But could we jump in where she's already a famous? No, I guess we couldn't because she gets on the ship. Or if they just kind of like pass through that and she just, after Pluto, she's just somewhat instantly famous.
Right. Well, if the movies do what they normally do and kind of try to relate it to today's time, she could start off as like an influencer, already famous.
Yes, that's true. This one's a tough one. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, conversely, and this might be, kind of on the fringe of what's acceptable to the fan base, but like, I always think about this stuff when we're doing our show, and it's like movies, Hollywood still by and large wants to make movies that are accessible to the general movie-going audience, not just the diehard fans. So as much as we know and love the character and what she means to the franchise, do I really think that Hollywood or Sony is going to invest a bunch, millions of dollars into a movie where the good guys win based on a song? Because that's what the general movie-going audience is going to see. Yeah. They won with music? That's kind of dumb. So, I mean, if you actually... I can see a version of Robotech that deletes the character entirely. I mean, she's not pivotal. She's pivotal to the story that we know, but is she pivotal to the film? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought about it. Here's a tough one. Question for both of you: Max and Miria's relationship.
Yeah.
For the same. Okay, so in the same vein as the Min-Mei thing, keep the rivalry, the combat pilot rivalry. Ditch the romance.
Okay. All right. 3 spies. I think you have to have it.
You have to keep them. Yeah, keep the spies. In fact, expand their role. They need to be more. They need to be less buddy and more devious.
Roy's death.
Pivotal, absolutely pivotal. Yeah, it's the catalyst. It's the catalyst for Rick Hunter becoming who he is.
Okay,
I say that's got to be left in.
Kyle and Min-Mei's relationship.
If we're keeping Min-Mei, so in the version where we keep her, Kyle's either her cousin or her manager, not both, and they certainly do not get an on-screen kiss. If we're doing the version without Min-Mei, Kyle is worthless and he's dead weight to me. You're dead to me.
All right. So in light of the recent Spider-Man movies, should Rick be played by a teenager? Are people going to pay to see a teenage Rick Hunter?
I think so. 19 is still a teenager. 18, a senior in high school, is still a teenager, and they're old enough to join the military.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can buy into it.
Yeah, kind of the Shia LaBeouf and Transformers.
Yep. I definitely buy into it for sure.
Here's an interesting one. How should they handle protoculture?
Well, see, I'm one of those fans that came to Robotech first, and I knew nothing about Macross or the origins. So I didn't know anything about the proto culture. Sure. I just knew protoculture as an energy source. And to me, that is protoculture. So, especially if you want to parallel what's going on in the world right now, a renewable or a near limitless energy source that could revolutionize the way that humanity goes into the future, absolutely go that route.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You have the protoculture matrix, make it this almost mystical thing, and treat it as a source of energy. I think it works.
For me, I would want to see it as the way of melding man to machine. The flower of life has hallucinogenic properties. Maybe that's the reflex part of reflex weaponry is that connection between man and machine via the energy source protoculture.
I love that idea. I mean, there's so many things you can do with that, especially when you start dialing in on the Lang character and what extents we know that he goes on to. I mean, you could literally have that play out in the bowels of the SDF-1 like it's Event Horizon. You know what I mean? Like just crazy weird. Yeah.
A whole side story. Yeah. A whole movie just on Emil Lang's.
Yeah.
Where do we stand on thinking caps?
I'm in. I'm a huge fan of Eastwood's Firefox, and I see them being superfluous that way, where he had to think it in Russian for it to happen. You got to think it. Human reflexes are just not at a point. The mystical bond between man and machine that was created by protoculture doesn't work for me without the thinking cap, because nothing is faster than a thought. Your reflexes, I don't care how good shape you're in, you cannot move as fast as you can think. So thinking caps are yes.
As much as I want to see 32 pedals on the inside of a cockpit,
17 levers, 107 switches.
Well, you appear to only use one lever with 3 settings on.
Hey, as long as there's an F, G, and a B lever, like I'm good. I'm good.
How about you, Paul? Thinking caps.
No, I'm in. I think that it creates a bond, and I think the machine makes you even, it gives you more abilities, and then you give the machine, the ability to think, basically. And so you'd be able to do things that you couldn't do, like backflips and all that stuff with jet assist.
Sure.
And the jet, that explains how these planes move with human reflexes.
I mean, Pacific Rim already did this. I know it was the neural handshake and it took 2 people, but the theory behind it is the same. You've got to have a direct connection to the brain somehow.
Yeah. And I don't think it would take up a whole lot of screen time. In fact, I think we're overthinking it to a certain extent, because it would be probably 1 minute exposition scene, and then we just kind of move on, because audience members that know, they've already accepted it. Everybody else is just going to go, yeah, we've seen kind of something like this. No problem.
Yep.
Fun question. What's an absolutely necessary tertiary character that you want to see?
Tertiary. Grell. I'll go with Grell.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn between Captain Kramer and Party Town City, USA Mayor Tommy Luan.
Oh yeah. It was a foregone conclusion that all of the townsfolk were going to be in it some capacity.
I would hope so. I mean, but if you cut out, let's say you cut out Min May, or you reduce her screen time, you might not get Jan Morris.
Oh, that is also true. Well, again,
I don't need to see Kyle. God knows I don't need to see Carl.
Damn you, Reber!
That was my tertiary character.
You know what? I'm going to change my my choice because
I'm sorry, it's locked in. Moving on.
Damn it!
No.
Admiral Hayes. Admiral Hayes. You got that conflict coming off the last episode of your show,
right,
where Lisa went back to Earth, to Alaska base. That whole conflict between her and her father, I think that is necessary for Lisa's evolution. So yeah, Admiral Hayes, I think, is a solid choice for that.
That is a solid choice, and one I didn't even think about, considering we just did that episode.
It just came to me now.
And the follow-up one.
And that wouldn't be too hard. That whole council, of them grilling them and like that scene could play out really, really good. Make them all scary and big on those screens.
Almost like they did in like the way the Winter Soldier handled it with the council.
Right. So all of these questions were based on me thinking, what if they charged me with having to write a Robotech script? And you really do have to come across a lot of these questions. But the really big one for me is, how many times do I play Time to Be a Star? It can't be just once.
Okay, so she's got to have there's got to be a live performance. There has to be one live performance. Then there has to be one sequence where a pilot, probably Rick, is tuning into Macross radio or a live broadcast of some sort. So that's twice, and maybe a third time in the credits.
All right. I thought we needed an acoustic version.
Oh.
Kind of, not exactly, not a 1-for-1, but kind of like when they're in the long wait, when they're in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah.
Or acapella version, not acoustic, but acapella version. But if we're cutting out a relationship, it all depends. I'm finding it really interesting how little we think she's absolutely necessary.
Again, though, she is necessary for the Robotech story. We know. I just question, is she necessary for the Robotech story? We don't know. And I mean, adaptations are kind of weird that way, where, you can, you roll the dice on one concept and you abandon others. And again, general movie going audience, are they going to invest in the Min May character? I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So those were the questions I had. Those were the things that I came up with when I heard the news and thought, if I was writing this, what would I want to see? What wouldn't I want to see? Or, kind of high points. And how do you structure this for a short runtime for a show you have to get from beginning to end? I mean, also, do you end it the way you end it?
Man, I don't know. I'm still banking on that there is more behind the scenes going on that we don't know about, because going back to the Masters of the Universe thing, I honestly think that Robotech works better as a limited series or as a mini series. I mean, make it live action, throw tons of money at it. Like Amazon's going to throw a bunch of money, the most expensive series ever made with their Lord of the Rings thing.
Well, let Reese do with it what he did to Hawkeye, or with Hawkeye.
Right. I mean, I look at, quality of storytelling, is neither here nor there, but I look at what Paramount is willing to spend on Star Trek in 2022, and it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks really good. So, I mean, the streamers, certainly have all kinds of money. And I mean, I'll add one more layer to this. I brought this up in the Robotech discussion group on Facebook the other day. Sony just last year signed a 5-year first look deal with Netflix. That's partly why Masters of the Universe has gone over to Netflix.
Okay.
So I do think that there is a very real chance that this could be produced for one of the streamers, Netflix specifically, because of that deal. So, man, there's lots of money in the Netflix pool.
I wish they'd say that, though. I wish they'd
Me too.
just say streamers. I think it's all bad, guys. I think that if this happens, we're going to be having to justify why we like this to a whole new group of people going, that shit sucked.
I've been doing this since I'm 9.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
Well,
Mage,
yeah.
I'm with you, Mage. You don't have to justify nothing to me.
But you know what I mean? Like if someone tells you, like, man, that was terrible. Why do you like that? You could be like, well, I didn't like that. What I liked was way before that. I wish that
Oh my gosh,
better.
Yeah, no, I understand everyone in high school, because none of my friends, like, I drop a reference here and there and they'd be like, what's that? I'm like, oh, I see. You still don't watch them once a month at least. So I didn't bring it up. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, that's not the thing. But then, 99's coming around and the re-releases come out and everybody's excited about the re-releases. And then I know the new Star Wars, the bright and shiny episode 1's coming out. And I'm like, everybody's going to get back on board with Star Wars. I'm going to be able to talk about it now. And I went that opening night and we walked out and I was like, damn it. Nobody's into this.
Phantom Menace still stands on my list of most theatrical viewings of any Star Wars movie. I saw it 6 times in the theater. I loved it.
You got it 6 times. All right.
Yeah,
I got it
yeah.
3 times. 3 times.
I just kept going with people who had never seen it.
I don't hate it.
Have you seen it
I
yet?
don't hate
No?
it.
Okay, let's go.
I liked it. And I'm not even that big a Star Wars fan. I liked it.
I enjoyed all of them. It took me a while to come to terms with that. I mean, Attack of the Clones is a slog, but you look for the good.
People make jokes about the prequel trilogy about who wants to watch a 120-minute movie about politics, and I'm the guy in the back going, Star Wars politics? I'm in. I'm totally in. Which is why I loved the Clone Wars. It just fleshed out that and recontextualized those movies so well. Yeah, give me more. Give me more.
Yeah. Or at least, all right. So Joseph is saying here, so is nothing better than something. And here's my view on that. Yes. Keep it alive in the same way that the prequels kept Star Wars alive, and now we're in a golden age of Star Wars, right? Let's just keep it alive. That's all I want. I want to be able to talk about it and people not go, what are you talking about now? What's Robotech?
Yeah.
What is Robotech anyway?
Just more modern.
Thank you, Paul. So what do you guys think? Is nothing better than something? Sorry, I did read that wrong. I read that wrong, didn't I?
You did.
Nothing
Yeah,
is better
nothing
than something.
is
Apologies,
nothing better than something. I believe that's a question. Is nothing better than something? I disagree. I think something is better than nothing because at least someone took a chance. And I mean, I really enjoyed Shadow Chronicles, and when there was no follow-up to that, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So to me, something is better than nothing.
I generally agree with that. I just don't like the way this is all lining up. This is all comedy, people. Like I just nothing's. If there was just one thing where someone came out and said, "Oh yeah, I watched that 35 years ago," I'd be yes, okay, we might get somewhere. We're not even getting that.
Directing, right? When Andy Muschietti of It Chapter 1 and 2 fame was signed on to direct, he is a fan, and he went to Harmony Gold.
As an Argentinian, and I mean, we know how prolific Robotech was in South America. I mean, it had to have had to hear him say that he was a fan. I feel like that may have been a missed opportunity to lose him, but
yeah, that was tough. Paul, you still there?
So we've lost Paul on the stream.
No, I'm here, guys. My glare was just killing me.
Oh, it was killing you. Okay, you're much less glary now.
Right.
Yeah, ultimately, something better than nothing is where I'm at on that one.
Yeah.
So something, yes, it's something as still moving forward.
The whole thing though, the comedy thing, like I don't want to be too hard on it because the truth is like the Marvel movies that at least in recent, and I know it's the whole Marvel thing, and I firmly believe that's what we're trying to emulate here with this writing director team.
Mhm.
The movies that were comedy centric, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, Ant-Man, they still had all the big action pieces that I wanted in a Marvel movie, and
Right.
I thoroughly enjoyed them. If they can find the sweet spot or mix up the secret sauce and get it out there in a way that hits, the quiet optimism in me says we could have something that's real.
Yeah, and you do have to believe they want it to be successful. They're gonna
Of
try to
course,
make it
yeah, yeah,
successful.
yeah.
Now, are they knowledgeable enough to do it? No, and that's where we come in. You can hit us at reflexpointpod@gmail.com. But seriously, I mean, it's like, when people are afraid of flying and they're like, I just don't have control. I'm not up there with the pilot. And I'm like, you think the pilot wants to die? He's going to do everything in his power to keep himself alive, and that's all you need to know. He's not
Yeah,
worried
yeah,
about
yeah.
you. He's worried about himself. And I think, as an analogy along the same lines, I think they are going to try to do their best. The comedy thing, I think you need it to in not, not a straight out comedy, not slapstick, not, somebody gets hit on the head and you're boing, but
Yeah, yeah.
you got to have it in there, I think, to keep the seats or the butts in the seats. And I think we expect it because of Marvel. We expect it largely when we're watching these.
I do. I for sure do. I'm gonna add one more thing to this too. Like just sticking with the Marvel formula for a second.
Sure.
Going back to the rewrite from Brian Gatewood and Alessandro Tanaka. Um, Brian Gatewood also served as an executive consultant on Hawkeye, so there's already a working connection with the director.
Mhm.
So clearly somebody has, I mean, and I know this is a case of it's who you know, but somebody has faith in these guys as a team to be able to put something together. Will
Yep.
it be fruitful? I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Because we have no clue on, even when production's gonna start.
Right. Right. So
if
those are
if production's gonna start.
If production's gonna start, that's true.
So is there the power of positive thinking here, people? Do I need to play a song here?
If you manifest destiny, I guess. If you put it out there, maybe it will come back around.
Well, look, it's on my dream board and I whisper about it every night.
Ah, that's awesome.
Um, those were my talking points. What did you guys have? I've taken it over completely by just talking about what I wanted to talk about.
I think it's no secret that it's going to be a Macross-centric movie, and I think that's been that way all the way back to like the Warner Brothers days. I mean, that's your buy-in, is that pre-existing fan base outside of Japan. I mean, would I like them to take a stab at something else, at one of the other sagas? Sure, but Macross I think is the one that gets all the majority of the rewatches.
Right.
And if they do, these are big. God, this is sort of a production thing, but like when you have a movie that's like set 90% of it is set in space, I mean, that gets expensive because you can't just go to space.
Right.
You can't just go to space and shoot there. So I don't know. Is it any different than making a Star Wars movie? No. I mean, does Sony have the faith in it to spend Star Wars kind of money on it? Probably not. So, I mean, that's really where I kind of cross my fingers for, like, just make it a streaming thing, make it a mini series, give it some more room to breathe so that if it does do well, there could be more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they do have Iron Man Marvel money, original Iron Man Marvel money to
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
do with it. And we got a really slick show out of that.
I'll say this about the streaming thing, like they don't release their numbers. They don't talk about,
Mhm.
how much money is in the can. But like when you think about like how many people globally have a Netflix subscription and how much new original stuff that they've been churning out over the last 15 years,
Right.
I mean, you can't tell me that Netflix isn't one of the biggest film studios on the planet.
Very much so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, Paul.
I'm super excited.
Well, what about you, Mage? What are you optimistic? What is your thought on this?
I am wildly optimistic. And I think that's why I started thinking about it. Like, where could it go wrong? And I, looking at the show and trying to figure out, well, what do you fit in? Because you're talking about episodes where you need to have a story arc, but when you're not doing it as an episode or episodic, you can do it one big movie. But what are the high points you need to hit? And I think if somebody had a large whiteboard and a bunch of beats on it, we could figure it out and figure out a really tight movie that was still engaging, still had a crazy good action sequences and set pieces, and deliver at least part of the excitement of the movie, of the show. It's not going to be a 1-for-1, and I think that's what we had. That's what I have to get out of my head immediately, right? And I think that's what I discovered in thinking about it. Not going to be a 1-for-1. So what's the essence of Robotech? You've said it before, Paul. When you're playing a game, card game, board game, whatever it is, does it feel like Robotech?
Oh yeah.
And as long as it feels like Robotech, I'll be happy. So I'm optimistic. I don't know if it'll go through, but I'm very hopeful that it will, more so than I have been in the past when, certain things came up. And yeah, they're going to be doing it here. Even the Tobey Maguire thing, I thought, it's just not there. It's never going to happen, because Spider-Man doing one character in a CG city is one thing. Doing multiple mecha, that's an entirely different process. And that seems,
yep.
It seems you would have to have, episode 1 money or Attack of the Clones money to do that. Because I know in Attack of the Clones, they didn't make one Stormtrooper outfit. It was all CGI.
Yeah. That's so true.
So I am happy to hear about it. I really do hope. And I know it's that time of year, and I forget what they call it, but it's that time of the year where all the studios get together and they talk about what their stuff upcoming is. And that's why this news came out of Sony, because it was this announcement along with 20 other ones. Obviously, this is the only one I care about.
Was it part of the CinemaCon thing when it part of their presentation? I don't know.
I know the other things I saw them announce were part of CinemaCon. So I kind of I have to believe that it was part of it. If anything is just a quick drop, which is exciting to hear, that anybody that they can say that and not have to give too much reference of like, okay, so Robotech was an 80s movie,
an
80s show developed by, so that that part's exciting. I'm optimistic just as a fan.
I think there's I've been talking about this for years, and I'm going to mention it again. Maverick is about to drop. And I mean, there's a whole segment of the population that are aviation enthusiasts that are going to go see this movie that may cross-pollinate into a Robotech movie.
Yeah.
I know
that's interesting.
Every time I played Battle Cry, on my Xbox, I was always shouting Top Gun references to, to it.
I was too busy running into invisible walls going, why?
All right. Final thoughts, Paul.
I have never hoped more than I do now that I'm wrong, but I don't have a good feeling about this.
Okay.
Will I give it a chance?
You don't have a good feeling about it going forward, or you don't have a good feeling about it being worth going forward?
Okay, so both. Okay. Both. I don't have a feeling. I don't have a good feeling that it's going to actually get done, because I've had that feeling before. And like you said, I've had my heart broke. I don't even want to open the door with the X out there knocking, saying they're going to change. But
sure.
Let's just say, okay, we're going to give it one more shot, and let's say it happens. The second part, I don't have a good feeling about it. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna, when there is a trailer about this, I am gonna tell everyone I know, look, this could be great.
It's real. It's real.
Try to justify it, and then hopefully afterwards not have to justify why I still like it.
Right. That's great, Wes.
I'm going to go with, we were talking before the show, if they can give me just one line
But why are they using such primitive weapons?
You can give me that. I'm in.
I'll go along with that. Only I need a petite cola and I have a peanut.
I'll tell you this: if they don't make this movie, I'm gonna write my own. That's what I'll do. We'll just write one. We'll all collectively write one.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we'll just pull one of the RPG sessions from
yes. Just record it. Just record
From
all your sessions.
1989.
Yeah.
And we'll go out on this final comment. And this is a follow up from Joseph saying something bad. Is it still worth it? And I think that's a great question to end on there. Is it still worth it? I think it is. It keeps it alive, and I want to see what they do because I am interested in seeing if they did it wrong. What does that mean? What did they get wrong? And again, even if it makes me angry, I'll still be pretty darn happy about it. Pretty darn excited.
Yeah, I mean, wounds heal over time, and all of the fall. I mean, I know we keep going back to Star Wars, but all the fallout over the prequels. I mean, there's been a lot of softening on those films lately, in light of sort of the recontextualization of them. There's value in failure, if nothing more than to learn how and where you went wrong. But it does keep.
What you're saying is maybe that's where we're at right now, right? We're at our Star Wars. What was it? The ones that everyone didn't like?
The prequels and the sequels for that matter too. But
so we might be there right now for Robotech, but it leads to a launch board of The Mandalorian and such for Robotech.
Yeah, and that is exciting. That is exciting on a whole other level.
Yeah, in that same way, it's like, well, I always wanted to see a show about a Mandalorian or specifically about Boba Fett. I think the same thing in terms of Robotech with, I want to see Cyclones, man. I got to see him. If I could see that would be the culmination of a lifelong dream.
We could spend a whole lot of time talking about what we could get out of this. Like, I mean, give me the first Robotech war and then give me a prequel about the global civil war. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me Roy's story before robotechnology. Like, I'm just so the brain just goes.
Yes. give us Zora's story.
Yes. Yeah. All of that and more tomorrow.
All right. Well, Wes, again, I want to thank you for joining us. Can you tell everybody where to find you?
Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for inviting me on the show. I was so happy to get the invite, and I'm really would love to do this again sometime. So let's talk about that sometime. But yes, you can find me. I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube. Now my YouTube channel is not branded the same as my show because we got a bit of a network thing going there. But my show, it's called Fandom Power, not Phantom, but Fandom. And you can find us on YouTube. We're on all of the audio platforms. So if you don't want to catch the video version of our show, which we tend to do live every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us in the rewatch at your leisure. I'm also I'm on Facebook at Fandom Power, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and hey, if you're a Twitch guy, you can catch our show on Twitch because we stream to all those places. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Fantastic.
Excuse me.
And this is the first time we've ever streamed to YouTube. So and again, this is by your prodding and pushing so I want to tell you we appreciate that. This is fun. Of course, we'll be doing something in the future here because
I don't know if your audience appreciates this. You and I were talking earlier this week, and I just want to put this out there for you for the benefit of your audience. You guys should know that Reflex Point is currently the only English language Robotech podcast that is active right now. Everything else is kind of fallen by the wayside. So show some love to the show, give the guys some love, get on board with their YouTube channel, and make sure you catch the show.
And hopefully we're putting out more shows. Paul, you're working on that churn-based. I freaking love it, partially because I have nothing to do with it. So I get to be a viewer of it. And I'm like, I would watch this if I didn't know you, I'd be watching this.
Yes, I did have a little bit of a volume issue for the first 3 episodes. I have figured out what was wrong. So the once we get to Claudia's turn, the volume is a lot better.
Fantastic.
That just went up today, by the way. I saw that. I got the notification for that, so I'll be watching that here in a few minutes.
You just revealed that you're a subscriber.
I absolutely am.
So, guys, thank you for joining us. You can find us at reflexpointpod@gmail.com. Hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more of this YouTube stuff because this is a fun conversation. If we can have a free flowing conversation, I don't mind doing the show. Because I'm reading so many notes, and then Rick did this, and damn you, Carl Reber, that seems a little bit more difficult, but free flowing conversation. Love to have it. Hope you guys enjoy it. Give us a comment if you want to see more of this, because I would like to do it. But anyway, for Paul, Wes, and myself, thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Everybody be safe.